It is a tonal whiplash from a lot of things to other things, and it is only 1:30, and I feel like
It's a very short movie, Bob.
it's so short, and I
It's
wish.
1:30.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because that's what you said. You said it was 1:30. I've got it on recording, people. Bob's a flawed human being. Hey, everybody. My name is John.
I'm Bob. He's Bi.
They're Butch.
Together we are the Butch and the Bi.
And we had a good time watching A Capitalist Tale.
A critique on the profitization of healthcare.
A big booty voiced by Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched 2005's Robots, produced by Blue Sky. What was it called in this one? Because it was like Blue Sky Animation instead of Blue Sky Studios.
I thought it was Studios, but
Yeah, I don't know. It was their old logo. That's all I know.
mm-hmm.
Anyways, this movie has gained a little bit of a resurgence, if you will, due to A, social media, and B, capitalism. Really decided to pop off in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, how do you feel about capitalism?
I resent living under it.
Oh, you could have stopped at a certain point in that sentence and it would have been accurate. I too resent living under it.
I like living. I would like to live. If there must be capitalism, it needs to be regulated. But ideally, you give what you can and you take what you need, and everyone gets a fair shake.
Yeah, just like the shake of a food dispenser. Yeah, no, this movie was wild to us for, I think a big reason for us was we were watching it, and the last time I think either of us had seen this was when we were really young. Like,
I don't know if I was super young, but it was definitely like younger than I am now by a large margin.
It was definitely when merchandise for this movie was coming out. So it would have been, for me, it would have been.
I think it was a little later, but I think it's been over a decade.
Over a decade,
at least.
Yeah. It's funny how well this movie aged.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it sort of did. So this was not Adam. Oh boy, who's Adam? Who is he? Who
we
knows?
don't know him.
We don't know him. Don't know him. But this was Robin Williams' return to voice acting after Aladdin and the King of Thieves in '96. So he took a big long gap because Disney screwed him, which is a shame because he's the best. So it's a bit of a trip. He brings a lot of energy to his character, and it is a bonkers cast. First things first, though, this movie has people that wrote and directed it, Bob.
Wow, it didn't just spring fully formed from the mind of a...
No, it was built from a box
child.
that was delivered on their porch. That's how that works. So this film was directed by Chris Wedge and co-directed by Carlos Saldana. So there's that. And it was written by Ron Mita, Jim McLean, and David Lindsay Adair. I think it's Adair because I had a teacher with the last name Adair, and it's a similar spelling, except for, the D is flipped.
The D is wearing a tight belt.
Yeah, give me that tight belted D. How you doing, Miss Adair? I don't think she's listening to this podcast. As far as I know, she's not... rose-colored goggles a first grader wore. Is the best way to put it. Man, this episode's gonna be fun because I got emotional in the first 5 minutes. I don't know if you saw me crying, but yeah, no, this episode's gonna be fun. It starred a crazy cast for 2005. So first up, we've got Ewan McGregor, who we last saw in did we do an episode on Obi-Wan Kenobi, or did we just watch that and enjoy it?
I can't remember.
We didn't do an episode on Obi-Wan Kenobi. If we did, we didn't. If we did, go find it in our website. And
if we didn't, feed all of our other episodes through an AI and have it generate a script for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Bob, if they do that, we're out of a job. Well, look. We're not. This doesn't pay anything.
Mm-hmm. This costs.
Could.
Yeah.
One day, who knows? Paula Abdul was in this. She played one of the Watches. This list is out of order in such a terrible way. So I'm just going to poke at it and guess the names I remember. Cappy, who was the corporate lady.
Mm-hmm.
The the typical hot lady in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
was voiced by Halle Berry. We had Mel Brooks as the voice of Bigweld, the original owner of the company. A very capitalist Santa Claus kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation. Jennifer Coolidge, as we mentioned, plays Aunt Fanny. And boy, is that joke subtle and not played out through the entire film. We also have Paul Giamatti is the voice of Tim the Gate Guard, little puppet, very reminiscent of Wizard of Oz. James Earl Jones did reprise his role for this. And then we also had, as I mentioned, Ian McGregor plays Rodney Copperbottom. Stanley Tucci plays his father.
Stanley Tucci is one of the most dad men, and I love him for that.
Oh, one of the most dad men. I thought you
Yeah.
said bad men.
No,
I'm like,
dad men.
I can think of like 5 other men that are worse than
Oh,
Stanley
no,
Tucci.
no.
Only 5.
Stanley Tucci is just very dad.
Yeah. His mom's played by Diane Weist, though I don't know if this counts as a role because she had 3 lines of dialogue that included whining about her son leaving. So that was in a stock folder, I'm sure. And then we had, as I mentioned, Robin Williams was the voice of Fender. Amanda Bynes was the voice of his little sister, whose name is so escaping me. Bob, do you remember what her name was?
I don't. My brain is just supplying other Amanda Bynes roles.
There aren't many. It's herself, a college student that pretends to be a man, and this. So I don't know.
And Penny in Hairspray.
Oh right, I've never seen Hairspray.
Yeah, you've never seen Hairspray.
She plays Piper.
Yes.
Oh, and
Piper.
Drew Carey's in this
Mhm.
as the voice of Crank. Of course, you don't know what any of this means, but I do have a visual device other than all of the robots you see before you if you're watching the video version. If you're just listening along, I'm so sorry. And this part won't even make it to that version. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to feel bad. So when I was a kid, I had some of the robots' toys. I don't know how well you can see that. I'll probably post a picture on Instagram or something. And these toys were ridiculous because I don't know why I have that one guy's arm on there, but they were ball and joint toys that you could pick apart and mix and match the pieces. And so I had, I believe, 2 of the sets because they came 2 characters to a pack. And this, I think it was the mom of the bad guy and Rodney. And then it was Fender and whatever this green guy was. I'm pretty sure. It's been, a couple decades. But yeah, no, I've had this just sitting in like my Lego box. Just been like, hey, yeah, that's the thing. I used to play with these all the time. I used to imagine them as different characters because I watched this movie once. Bob. Bob, what did we discover while watching this movie?
We've both watched this movie once, and in the time that we watched it, it etched itself into our brains, and rewatching it felt like returning to something that we had seen like maybe a couple years ago, a year at most. I feel like it was just like we were both constantly just like, wow, that never left my brain. There are only a few moments where I was like, I don't remember this, but for most of it, it was just like, oh yeah, this part. Oh yeah, this part. Oh yeah, I know this.
Yeah, big chunk of the second act kind of went missing from my brain, but a lot of the beginning, and then once they find Big Weld, it was like, woof. So, just to let you know, fine listeners, there's going to be spoilers for this movie. So if you haven't seen 2005's Robots and you don't want spoilers, I think we've already spoiled some of the things, but if you don't want more spoilers, well, yeah, tune out of this and go ahead and check it out. It's on Hulu right now, not sponsored at all.
Only an hour and a half.
It's only. And you too can become a fellow communist. This movie's gotten a little bit of a viral resurgence on TikTok, mostly because of the state of the workforce in America right now, the state of capitalism in general, and how our generation, the generation under us, is reacting to it. You could say it's not reacting well, which is a good thing. We don't like capitalism here. Buy our merch. Support the gays.
That is mercantilism, which is the selling of things. Capitalism is the search of capital above all else, above human.
Yes, we rent.
Yeah, we're not capitalists.
We don't own property.
Yeah, we own.
We own. What's the difference? Property is like things like buildings and things you're using to make a profit. Is it is it capital property and personal property? There's a
I
difference.
don't remember anymore.
Anyways, no, people are not taking your pop vinyls when they say eat the rich. Don't worry. They should though. These things are awful. You see how many are up here? This is like 0.02%.
There's one hidden behind this robot.
It's Ted Lasso,
Anyways.
our favorite robot. I want to see a remake of this or a sequel to this, and it's got like new celebrity cameos, and he's one of them.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, it's got like a little grill as the mustache kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this, man, number one, let's just say the visuals are still so good.
They aged so well. The lighting in this movie is some of the best lighting, because this came out, I believe, a year after Incredibles, which one thing that Incredibles notoriously did not handle well is lighting. And in this, it is so good. And it's because, too, you're handling a lot of stiff objects. You're handling robots. They're shiny in places. They're rough in other places. So there's a lot of different ways the light can reflect and refract.
It's a similar thing to, like, they chose an amazing medium. And they also did a really good job, because I feel like I've seen some robots that are not done as well. But it's a similar thing to Toy Story. You're like, okay, we're working with this medium. We don't think it really is going to handle organic matter that well. But toys, we can make toys look good. And this makes robots look so good.
Yeah.
And in, like, things that have etched itself into my brain, I know that I have drawn robots with eyebrows on the little sticks because I saw that. I was like, oh, that's clever.
Oh, giving robots pointy fingers in my doodles. That comes straight from the villain in this. Yeah, and that's the cool thing, is each of the characters have such unique designs to them that, like, it's such a good visual style. Again, the reflections and just the way everything glimmers and glistens, and
things that are rusted and old dinged metal.
Yeah, the entire VFX team behind this, just the animators, the modelers, the riggers, did such an excellent job. And the other thing we noticed too is that it follows so many rules of animation as far as things stay in motion. For it being a movie about robots, there's a lot of really smooth movement. Robin Williams' character Fender is bouncing around a lot, no different from something like the Genie, right, or like Spinell in Steven Universe. And I think that's really great, because it really does keep everything flowing in a way that's it's fun to watch. That was the thing about this movie. It was so much fun to watch. There's so many good little beats that you pick up on, especially now as an adult. I mean, I mentioned it, but like the dad's whole, like, I don't regret anything, but I do regret everything. So follow your dreams, kid. And then looks at his wife and winks. But like it hits different as an adult that is paying bills and doing things that are not the big thing.
Yeah.
To do that.
I mean, it's the eternal thing. Like, you have regrets, but at a certain point you hit a moment where you're like, oh, there are good things in my life. I don't fully regret going this direction, because, like, hey, moving to Pittsburgh, super traumatic, but I wouldn't have met you if I hadn't moved to Pittsburgh.
Now it's worse.
And
I make them come up here to our studio every week and record a podcast about a movie. It's like some twisted game show on MTV. Remember when they used to do Celebrity Deathmatch? Did you ever watch Celebrity Deathmatch?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about this some other time.
Yeah. So, like, there are obviously many different ways that my life could have gone. It's a possibility maybe that I would have stayed in my hometown and gotten some apartment with a friend and ground away at stuff.
And then they were roommates.
Well, oh my God, they were roommates. No. I'm not sure if there's anyone that would have worked with. But
who's back home, Bob? Who should I be jealous of?
No
one.
Everyone left Menominee, Wisconsin. No one stays there.
It's a wasteland.
But so, like, I can think there are so many things that it's like easy to get caught in regrets. Like, I do wish I could see every possible tree that my life could have been, because that's just kind of the sort of self-centered person that I am. But I'm really happy with where I am now. I don't really regret anything at this point, except this is the silliest thing.
If you say making the joke, the butch and the bi at that practice.
No.
Oh, okay. Was it really great?
Specifically not grabbing the it's not auto harp, the Q chord. It's it's an electronic device for making music that we had in my parents' home, and it disappeared, and I haven't been able to find it on returns. And getting one new or used is very expensive. It'd be a really cool instrument to use for musical improv.
What is that called?
It's a Q chord, but there's an older word.
A Q chord?
Chord.
Chord. Okay, and it's Q, the letter Q?
Yes.
And is it like dash chord as in CORD?
Something like that, yeah. There's an older, that's the modern brand name.
Mm-hmm.
There's an older version, but new or used, it's very expensive. And I'm like, I could have just had that.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows where it went. The only person who remembers is Susanna, because we were the ones who played around.
That's called generational wealth, Bob, and you lost out.
Yes, the old synth instrument we got from our priest's wife.
Yeah. Well, that is a recurring theme in this movie too, is the hand-me-downs. We get this fun montage of Rodney growing up. First off, he's delivered in a box, and they're like, making the baby's the best part, the most fun.
A 12-hour.
And it was like an IKEA process of like putting it together, and it plays with a lot of the human things really well. During that little like his dad's on his way home and excited about having a kid. The neighbor is buffing the lawn, not mowing it, because it's just all metal, because it's ridiculous. But yeah, Rodney very quickly gets endeared to this media figure who is the owner of this big corporation. He's an inventor, and he welcomes new inventors to come to his company. And I think this is a very common thing for people in our generation, of like the media that we saw growing up very much displayed things like it being easy to do certain things, like get a job is just, hit the pavement and like do the thing, or just do what you're passionate about. And it's interesting to now watch this grown and see like Rodney grows up, and by the time he is old enough to participate in society in that way, that doesn't exist anymore. And in fact, it's twisted, warped, bizarro brother is in its place, and just wreaking havoc and harming everybody.
Yeah, we see the most unrealistic thing about this movie is that Big Weld is the
good billionaire.
Yeah, that Big Weld is actually a good person, because that person does not exist. There were people who...
Well, he was voiced by Mel Brooks, so no shit, it sounded like a not good person.
There's the idea of like, there's the... Not villain.
Bob, just as a reminder, he's the guy that's responsible for Young Frankenstein in that movie.
Not the robot. The man voicing the robot.
No, same thing. That's actually his true form. It's even a little bit hibbit.
And you're now the robot.
Beep boop. I can't say honk honk anymore. I have to say beep boop.
Yeah. Words. It sucks to do a podcast and have your brain regularly steal words from you, and you can't use them anymore. There are no good billionaires. No one who reaches that point was ever good. But I feel like
in this fantastical world,
there is
those consequences don't seem to exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there was a shift in like people who at least like people who had a little bit more humanity, or at least tried to portray that, specifically gave to philanthropic things to try and balance out the bad press of them being evil people. And I feel that does capture a little bit of that essence of like the you can shine, no matter what you're made of, you can shine, versus why be you when you can be new.
Well, and then the fact too that like Big Weld is apparently just off playing with dominoes and Rube Goldberg machines from hell. Like that's the thing, is like the system in which that can be the thing that happens in a person that takes over through nepotism, mind you. So it's the guy is, we didn't talk about who voices the bad guy in this, because I hadn't heard of him. I thought it was going to be like Bug's Life, where it was going to be like, it's someone that ended up not being a great person in the future. He was voiced by Greg Kinnear.
Oh yeah, Greg Kinnear.
Oh, okay. What do you know him from?
What do I know Greg Kinnear from? I don't know. I just know the name.
Well, he was in Little Miss Sunshine.
I feel like there's some rom-com.
Let's see here. He was in the new version of The Stand. That's fine. I keep meaning to watch that.
Oh dear God. That must be what I'm thinking of specifically. The movie Dear
Maybe.
God, which is a movie about a criminal who works at the post office and starts answering letters to God.
Weird. I do the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those names I remember from the deep annals of my brain. But yeah,
Amazing.
he does a great job. He has a John Kerry-esque.
Yeah. Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey, not John Kerry.
Wow. Me and you both.
It's white men, all same name, and then some, and then just so.
Yeah, anyways. So moving right along from that. So yeah, no, he does do a great job of that, like, nepotism child being, I'm the bad guy kind of thing. Like, no, I'm handling it. In reality, he's just, he's taking advantage of all the pleasures that being in that position of power brings him.
Mm-hmm.
I do say though, his design is very sleek. I love that design. It's good. And I like the fact too, his mother is kind of the slaver warden of all of these robots that are built specifically to grind up the other robots into parts to smelt down and to make new parts. And like, she's got a like grinder in her head that's shooting off sparks the entire time. And it's very interesting design.
Yes.
She is the little top of the head. You can see the grinders in that. I don't know if you can, but Bob, you see them?
Oh yeah, I see those grinders.
Yeah. That was my profile name on Grindr.
That's the other. So I wish this movie could have been made by people who are even more left, because the thing of like the real villain is actually this person who's like.
Yeah, let's put the good capitalist in place and it fixes all the problems.
Yeah, versus this person who's like, she's kind of slumlordish, but she's not sleek and shiny. She's really a hypocrite.
She reminds me of the version of the witch from The Wiz.
Which I have not seen, but I've
not seen The Wiz?
I have not seen The Wiz.
Whoa, I can't remember because her name's she's not the Wicked Witch. It's something else, but it's a very similar, like, it's very industrial and it's very much a commentary on capitalism and that sort of thing. And yeah, this movie really kind of nails it on the head a little too hard. And I think that's the interesting thing is it's interesting seeing it kind of get this resurgence, because we were watching this and there were a number of lines that popped up that have been used virally as like a meme so much. And like the one I think of most immediately is there was a big trend last year on TikTok of people using the sound of Tim playing around with the door of like, you thought I was gonna let you in, didn't you? Haha, I gotcha. That's haha, and he's like laughing. Like people were using that to tell a very similar story of situations they've been in. Like, so it was like, wow, this really did resonate with a lot of people. And the latest trend is just, there's the song that plays when we first see that like workshop grinding area.
Yeah.
And that's been the thing that's been going viral right now is people like being like, their brains being warped by seeing this movie.
Yeah, no, when that song came up, I was like, oh, this is so good, because it is, and it's just dirty and grungy, and oh, it fits it so well, and it's just a real dirt bop.
Yeah. We have a great moment with Aunt Fanny where there's a armpit farting competition, and Aunt Fanny doesn't know it's an armpit farting competition. The whole joke is she's got a big ass. She farts and it kills the lamppost outside. The lamppost starts sniffing, realizes what's wrong, drops dead. And then the next morning, when it cuts to the morning, there's a chalk outline of where the lamp was sitting. It's amazing.
There are so many good little bits like that. Like, it's just beautiful. It is a tonal whiplash from a lot of things to other things, and it is only 1:30, and I feel like
it's a very short movie, Bob.
It's so short, and I wish
1:30.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because that's what you said. You said it was 1:30. I've got it on recording, people. Bob's a flawed human being.
Was that not proven hundreds of episodes ago?
No. Hundreds? Wow, you really can't count tonight, can you? Trust me, we're not at hundreds. If we were. It was a dog barking.
Sorry, it made me think of the robot that's always changing voice boxes.
Oh yeah, that was so fun. It was
bit.
Bumblebee. It was basic. Oh hey, speaking of Bumblebee, Transformers, robots in disguise. But yeah, that was good. There was a great moment where he gets a Darth Vader voice box, and that is James Earl Jones doing the voice of Vader. I imagine they just pulled the clip. I don't know if they actually got Jim in the recording booth. My good friend Jim Earl.
Jim Earl Jones.
Gerald Jones. Well, it's dangerously close to a different name. Never mind. Anyways.
Yeah, no, I was about to say it, and I was like, no. Yeah, there is a version of this that exists in my head that is even more leftist and radical, and that's very fun. But honestly, also, this is fun.
It's a very fun movie. It's definitely got some, if we're looking for anything to change, it's got some transphobic jokes in it.
Transphobic jokes,
or Robin Williams' character is just a trans character.
So that is the fun thing about being trans and looking back on things. You either be like, this is transphobic, or like, this is trans.
Yeah, because I wonder how much of it is like not similar, dissimilar, but like for me, before I came out, before I accepted that, it was very much like, well, I still like women, so I can be straight, I'll be fine. Like, how much of that is similar to some trans people's experiences with coming to terms with being trans and how they identify with that, like of, oh no, I've been put in this situation where I'm wearing this wig or whatever, and now I feel things about it and I don't want to feel those things. And then it slowly continues.
I think the intent was, funny man in a dress. Yeah. But also, it's benign enough that you can take it and make it your own.
Yeah, it didn't age as bad as Milk. Yeah, like it didn't go rotten completely. Yeah. There is a moment where he does some indigenous people chanting during the battle cry scene.
Yes, there's that. Yeah. There's some fun Spanish accent stuff. That's
just a Robin Williams like common. He does the accents of a lot of. Actually, fun fact: the scene where they're pretending to be diplomats from another country or whatever to get into the party.
Emissary.
They recorded 9 versions of that. So that's kind of just a Robin Williams bit, because there was a part too where they gave that was the one thing that kind of annoyed me, was that they gave the robot that didn't have a voice box, they gave him the Spanish speaking voice box and then immediately knocked it out of him like it was a bad thing. It's like, didn't like
there's
that.
A lot of period typical, ooh, that's not in good taste, and it doesn't add anything really.
It doesn't. I don't think it detracts anything.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those. It's a kid's film. It's the stuff that's in there is not nearly as bad as some of the stuff in some other films we've watched from that era. But all in all, I think the overall message still stands up of like, hey, something's wrong. You can do something about it. Speak up.
Help those around you. Yeah. Power in numbers. Because that's the thing at the end. They're like, we are more than you. And then she's like, here's all my minions. And then they're like, here's all the people that Rodney helped.
Yeah.
That's
one person can make a difference.
Yeah. By becoming more than one person. Because a singular unit is not strength. Strength is in numbers.
Not sustainable, because that person will get burnt out and die.
Help people. Build communities. Work together. Unionize.
Oh
no!
What?
No, profit is the profit is what he was.
Oh, sorry, you were listing off 3 things, and I'm just used to that being how you make a profit.
I know. We are nothing if not meme generators.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is the main takeaway, and the thing that I like about this movie is just like, people at the top suck, either through their active maliciousness or their apathy,
or their ignorance.
They suck. And you gotta have class solidarity and help out those around you and work together.
Yeah. I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
It was
also healthcare for people, not profit, because that's another angle of this.
Oh yeah, because the whole thing is they're like, oh, upgrades, baby, and it's like they're moding out bots and saying, hey, if you want to survive, you need to get the newest model,
which costs substantially more, and so it's putting a cost on your continued life, which is what the U.S. healthcare system does.
If you're not good for us, we're going to chop you up for pieces. Man, yeah, I'm surprised like how
and that narrative
realistic it was of the storytelling there.
That was the thing when you brought up, you said the worker situation. I was like, oh yeah, that is how people are being treated as workers. It's very like, you don't matter.
Insurance workers right now, they're part of the working class, but they're also serving the capitalists that are actively causing harm. Like, that's the thing, is like, because they have to survive as well. Like, it definitely, and that's why like those robots then start fighting back against the robots trying to stop them from using the chop shop kind of thing. Like, it's much like real life, it is complicated, and people have been conditioned and to a degree brainwashed into that things are great the way they are, and if you just pull yourself up by your bot straps, you'll be fine.
And even if it's not great, it's just like, this is stability and comfort. Yes.
Yeah.
They very much like the way that the chopper bots, which aren't given any sort of character development, they're pretty bland villains, but the way that they are feels very like, this is my routine, and this is what I'm
reminds me of
safe
the
in.
Wall Street broker in Soul, when he gets sapped out of his body and stuff, and he like has this moment of like, I need to do that, like that whole thing. It was very much like, these are people that are just so burned out and worn out that they know nothing but survival, and anything that threatens that survival, well, nope, it's got to go.
Yep, that is the biggest pin between class solidarity, is just, we're all exhausted, and how do we actually help each other? But
yeah, follow your dreams, play the trumpet poorly, and then other people will make up for your mistakes.
But
it was a fun movie. It was a good watch.
No, I just think for that song, like, yeah, it didn't work well because it's fucking Community.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about, like,
I'm still going to mock Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci, who is the one who blew the trumpet, actually, in the movie. Because if you isolate one track from a song, certain genres doesn't work. Some genres, sure, you got a good horn solo, but a lot of genres, it's all about that interplay. And that's what society is.
You heard that here first, folks. Individuals don't matter, only groups. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
A good number of societies that shunt individualism are much happier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm just clowning on you because it's fun. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Anyways, now that I'm done bullying Bob, do you know what the Fine users can do? Don't worry, I'm going to tell them. They can go to www.thebutchandthebite.com. That is A-N-D, not ampersand, because the internet doesn't like ampersands for some reason. I can't imagine why. And that's where you can find all of our links and things. And yeah, we're doing a survey right now. If you're interested in giving your opinion on the show, the current state of it, any thoughts you have about the video version of the show if you've watched it, and a couple other fun questions, and also an opportunity to get a fun little line read in there. You know, keep it PG-13, but you can make us say whatever you want, and Bob has to say it. I'm not saying any of it. I have no scruples.
If I was good at impressions, I would say give me an impression to do it in, but I'm not.
No, I'm barely a better impressionist than you.
Yeah,
I only have like 3.
Kermit, you can get from him. You can get helium voice or an absolutely miserable Donald Duck.
You get Donald Duck. I don't have a Donald Duck.
Yeah, you don't have a Donald Duck. I was like going back and forth there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I have a lot of in the moment ones that I can't really regurgitate. Sometimes I can do the nerd from Jimmy Neutron, which I realize is an oxymoron because he is also the nerd. But Carl Weezer. Yeah, I can do like Jimmy's mom. Yeah, no, I can't.
Yeah, you can't summon them.
I just got the hey ho everybody, it is me, Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah,
telling you how capitalism is bad. Now Jim, shove your hand right up my ass.
My problem is that my auditory imagination is so good that I can hear exactly, like if I've heard enough of someone's voice, I can make them say whatever in my head. And so I'm always disappointed by what comes out my throat because it's not that.
Yes. I too am always disappointed by what comes out of your throat. Anyways, thanks for checking out this episode of the podcast. Check out next week when we talk about another movie, or check out last week's episode where we talked about 2018. I fucked up the date in the recording. Public editor's note. 2018's game night. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, cool. And we'll be talking to someone real soon. Getting someone on for episode 110, which which is approaching rapidly. We're aging. Just like the Queen. Long live the King.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Bye.
Butch.